Yo, what's up YouTube? Thought I'd get off my ass and do a quick vid here on how difficult Bryan Fury is. It's a question that comes up fairly often because some people have said that he's very hard. And I think that it's a little misunderstood the reason as to why. It's not... It is true to say that he's very hard at certain levels of the game, but for the vast majority of the game, he's probably not that bad. And a lot of the time when you talk about how difficult a character is, you're trying to take into account, like, the beginning, you know? What's it like to learn the game as the character? What's it like to play the game in the beginning stages as that character? And as far as that goes, it's likely that he's not really that hard at all. If you look at his tools, you got 3+4, big damage if you get a counter hit, ranges people out. You'll see like this shit all the time where someone gets ranged out. All the way out here, they'll run back in because it's like technically they know that they're plus a lot, and then they'll get hit by another one because you got to time that shit. You got orbital, not too hard to do that, very hard to punish. You got back 1, plus frames, big counter hit reward once again. Forward 3, if you're in close, like this move is just good in general as long as it touches. You know, down forward 2, 3. Big, again, same similar to this. Same reward as this. Big counter hit reward if they press on that. That kind of thing is effective for, like, a lot of your time playing the game. Like, up through, like, blue ranks or whatever in Tekken. And sometimes even a little beyond that if you're, like, okay about timing it. So it's those tools remain effective. There's probably ones that I'm missing, but, like, just, you know... That's like 5 or 6 buttons that he can press right there that give him a good reward and are just easy to press, you know? That's not, you're not doing like a 4, it's not like an electric input here, you know? Up 4, back 1. Yeah, they're a little slow, that's true. But if you're telling me that you're playing someone and you're not like gonna get one of these to hit one time in a round, I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty likely. And then once you get one of them, you get humongous damage. Humongous damage. Like, let's have a little look here. Alright. Oh no. And then we get taunt setups. And yeah, that's probably the second part of the reason that people say Bryan is hard. Is the fact that, like, doing something like taunt jet upper, which I apparently have lost the ability to do. Yeah, that's difficult. Taunt back 4. Difficult to do consistently. Like, it takes a while to get it down to where it's consistent. Even for me, like, you're gonna miss it sometimes. Although, hopefully not as much as I'm missing it right here if you play the character somewhat regularly. Just forget about that part. That's probably the second part of why people say that he's hard. But again, just doing this, you know, people can pressure you and it's a little bit harder because he doesn't have great panic moves. He's got like this, obviously, and that's like, that's kind of it. But that's not a big issue up until you get to the higher ranks where people are blocking all the time and where people are doing what's maybe one of the strongest things in the game, which is sidestep blocking. When you sidestep block in this game, this is the reason most likely why people say Bryan is hard. At least why, like, good players say Bryan is hard. Not putting myself in that list, I'm just saying this is basically me passing off information that I have heard. Alright? This is most likely the reason why. Or this is the reason why, I should say. Here. 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 Already did 3+4. Ah, whatever. It's fine. These are good enough. Oops. My bad, my bad. So, all of that. These are moves that Bryan is like, the people say are Bryan's good moves. Moves that he needs to use. All of those moves are beaten by doing this. Oh, and oh, this is one of them. This is one of them too. This one. Yeah, the down forward 2 is not that big deal. You're not gonna get like smoked on that, unless you try and finish it with something slow, like down forward. See that? Dude, I have to take the most minuscule. Okay, maybe not the most minuscule, but a very small step, and all of a sudden, this can happen. And that's confirmable. You see that shit whiff? You got a year and a half. You got fucking forever. It's not to say that like a lot of people don't lose to this kind of thing, like small sidesteps. Like small sidesteps will make a lot of stuff whiff. But the thing is, if small sidesteps make Bryan's things whiff, if small sidesteps make this thing whiff, that's like, I mean, just I showed you Bryan's damage earlier, right? You have, it's like 80 plus damage. 80 plus damage plus a taunt setup. There are a lot of characters that once you get them to the wall, they do about 80 damage. So if he's missing this one time, if he's whiffing this one time, that's half a bar of life. So you have to be real careful about using Bryan's, you know, good moves. This, if you put it out here, not such a big deal. Part of the reason that Bryan is pretty, you know, pretty, I don't want to say beginner friendly, but he's not as bad to beginners as people say. But this kind of thing, this kind of thing, this kind of thing, dude, you gotta be careful. He's got so much recovery. You're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna get real fucked up at high level. But at low level, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to go over. Is just clearing up a misconception about why Bryan is probably considered difficult. It's not so much the journey up as it is the finish line. The last 10 yards getting to the finish line. It's real hard up there. When those guys know how to play the game, when they're doing this kind of thing all the time, it's rough. Anyway, thanks for watching, dudes. Okay, while I was doing the video, I forgot that I didn't make one thing very clear about why the small side step works. Because I feel like a lot of people, to the extent that a lot of people are going to watch this, not likely, but to the extent that they are, the way that you do small sidestepping, or the reason why it works is because of the timing. So, if I were to do this, for example. Nope, not enough. If I were to do this, for example. See how that tracks? Even though I'm sidewalking? Dude, I'm like so far away. That time it didn't track. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. The reason why is because the timing of when you're doing something matters. So if you do it during, I think for most moves, if not all moves, it's the startup frame of a move. That move will not track as much. Okay, and the reason why it matters for Bryan a lot is because, again, moves like this, if you're doing this all the time, maybe you block it. Maybe you just block. Okay, and if you just block, that's no big deal. But if you get a whiff, dear lord. You know, big damage all the way to the wall, no matter what character. No matter what character. Some characters will do more than others, but no matter what you do, this button whiffing is very, very bad for Bryan, especially if they've stepped it. Because if they've stepped it, that means that they're close enough to launching. If they're back, if they're too far away, they may not even be able to get much off this. But if they've stepped it, you're fucked. You're gone. Sayonara. Have a good one. But yeah, I realized I may not have been that clear about that, so I wanted to clear that up. Alright. Thanks again. Alright, peace out, dudes.